Listen to my words of instruction, receive with reflection. With a parable I will speak, uttering words ancient and antique, stories we have heard and known, things that our ancestors have shown. It was all told in days of old, we'll not hide them from their procreation, we'll share them with the next generation. The praiseworthy deeds of the Lord affirmed, His might and wonders He has performed in Jacob and Israel. He set decrees and laws, told our ancestors to teach the children to be in awe. May they be known to the next generation and their children's children in perpetuation. Then in God they place their hope, remember His deeds to quote. Then they understand the need to keep His commands, that they wouldn't be as their ancestors, stubborn and rebellious. Their hearts for God were loyalless, spirits faithless and contentious, like the men of Ephraim, armed with bow and spear. Then when the battle came near, they ran away in fear. They didn't keep God's promises, refused to live by His policies. With a parable I will speak, uttering words ancient and antique, stories we have heard and known, things that our ancestors have shown. Their memories didn't last, forgot His wonders from the past. Even the Egypt Exodus flight, the epic miracle of His might. They forgot the delivery of Jehovah and His power at the crossing over. He divided the sea and led them all, made water stand up like a wall. A pillar of cloud led the way in the light, a pillar of fire stood guard at night. He split desert rocks with springs to please, with more water than abundant seas. Streams poured forth from a rock, flowing rivers that did shock. Yet against Him they continued to sin in rebelliousness against the Most High God in the wilderness. In their hearts they put God to the test, demanding food they craved and obsessed. Against God they did confess, can God really spread a table in the wilderness? Yes, true, He struck a rock and water gushed out, but where's the bread and meat? We really do doubt. When God heard their moaning, His fury was incensed. His anger towards His people became so intense, for they didn't trust, instead they feared. They doubted His deliverance and that He is near. With a parable I will speak, uttering words ancient and antique, stories we have heard and known, things that our ancestors have shown. Yet He gave a command to the skies above and opened the heavenly doors of love. Manna rained down for the people to eat, the grain of grace fell such a treat. Angel food appeared at God's will, and all of the people had their fill. The heavenly winds He made them blow, then provided meat and fowl for all below. They ate all with more to show. He made food come down in their sight, all around their tents was such delight. They ate till they were more than stuffed. He had given them what they craved and did lust. Then before they turned from their crave pursued, even while food was still being chewed, God's anger and wrath rose against them. He killed the strongest of Israel's men. In spite of all this, their sinning didn't leave. Despite the sight of wonders, they didn't believe. He cut short their futile lives in disaster, with nothing to show but fear thereafter. When He cared, they thought it inane. Whenever God killed them in pain, they came quickly running back again. They remembered that God was their rock in times of trouble, that God Most High redeemed them from the struggle. With a parable I will speak, uttering words ancient and antique, stories we have heard